Hey, what's up, voice community? It's your host, Charles here. So I want to talk about something important that's, I think, it's very important to me as building my business. And I have a few professionals and people that are passionate talking about this topic. So and even then, they're business owners in this industry. So I'm very passionate, or I would say I'm very excited to have people like this to talk about what they stand for and what their voice is in here. I met this woman when I was working at my previous job. She actually just came in and said, hey, who do I speak to about becoming a vendor in here? And I was like, oh shit, that's pretty dope. So I started talking to her and I learned about her business. She gave us a sample of her product, and that got me excited. And then that's what got me kind of curious to know more about her business. And I think it's just really cool with how she pivoted her story. So I'm going to actually introduce her. Kristen, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming by. I know the traffic was a little bit hectic today.
It's okay.
Yeah. So Kristen is with Earth Kandee, right? So, very lovely. I loved your drinks.
Thank
the one
you.
that you made. I know you make a different products as well from what I've seen, right? But just to get the story started first, for anybody listening, let's get a little bit of background of who you are.
Yeah, so...
And your business.
Yeah, definitely. I am originally from Michigan.
Nice.
I moved out to California about 5 years ago. When I moved out here, I was kind of in between deciding to go back to college and finish the degree I was pursuing.
Right.
Or
what was the degree?
I was going for hospitality management.
Okay.
In some business classes as well. But I came to California for the summer because I was bored with my degree in college. And so we just came, my best friend and I moved out here for the summer just to bartend and have a good time.
Okay.
And I fell in love with California. So I stayed, but staying, I didn't go back to college. And so I was just kind of in this weird, I don't know what to do with my life stage.
You're not the only one. A lot of Californians are in that phase as well.
Yeah, just enjoying the California sun. Right. It was great. But in that time, I was developing a health and fitness journey of my own. I had never really ate healthy or worked out as an adolescent.
Huh, interesting.
So I was like obviously being in California and seeing all the pretty people, you get pretty inspired to want to be healthy. Nice. So I was diving into my health and fitness journey. I was working out at a gym in Santa Paula. And I really just wanted a smoothie after my workout. There's no smoothie shop there.
Right.
And after doing some research, I realized there was multiple gyms in Santa Paula and there's no smoothie shop. So I kind of saw an open opportunity. I'm like, I could open a smoothie shop in Santa Paula. So I started doing market research and it seemed like a really viable business idea. So I put together a business plan. I put together a pitch for investors.
Nice.
All of these things, and then COVID happened.
Okay. So you started in 2019?
Yes. Started planning in 2019.
Okay.
Yep. And COVID happened, and I decided it's probably a really stupid idea to open a restaurant in a pandemic. So I was really, I had grabbed on really tightly to this idea at that point. So I kind of sat with my thoughts and figured out how to pivot and how could I still have a smoothie company in a pandemic. And I started business planning for a food truck. I was like, that's like to go. People are still eating food if they can take it with them. So a food truck could kind of solve both problems. It could be a mobile smoothie shop and people would feel comfortable ordering from it still because it's takeout, right? So I put together a whole business plan and pitch for a food truck this time.
Nice.
And in the midst of all of that, it's still a pretty high barrier to entry because a food truck, I mean, is anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000, and that's cheap. You could go even more if you wanted to, depending
based on what's in it.
And so spending that much money in a pandemic when everything was kind of up in the air was still pretty scary. So I was like meeting with business advisors around this time. And I remember meeting with one guy who said, well, how can you get your product in people's hands with the lowest barrier to entry without spending a bunch of money? And so you can kind of prove that it has market validation, that you even can make good smoothies.
For sure. Yeah.
So he really got me thinking. I was like, how can I do that? And I came up with the idea, which was the first model that we actually tested out with customers, was prepping the ingredients you need for a smoothie into individual cups.
Okay, yeah, I see
And the
that.
customer would add liquid and blend at home. You'd keep it frozen, and people would add liquid and blend their smoothies themselves.
Yes, I did remember seeing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool.
So that's where we started. It was great during COVID. It did super well. But once the world started to open back up, people were on the go again. They were back to their work, back to school, whatever it was. We saw a pretty huge decline in sales. And that's, where you have to get pretty scrappy as an entrepreneur.
For sure. Yeah,
It's like, what do I do? So that's when we actually started blending and bottling smoothies as opposed to meal prepping them.
Okay.
And they've been doing great. I mean, they're grab and go, so people can...
they're delicious.
Thank you.
That's the one you gave me, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, that's the one I brought. So we were going to do wholesale, which is what the product, why I brought the product into your old job.
Okay.
But we're not going to go wholesale route anymore. But yeah, so it's just, we had to get really scrappy in that moment, and we realized that having this blended product, something that's grab and go, was what our customers wanted. So just pivoted into that, and that's what we do today.
Okay, that's a pretty remarkable story. Thank you for sharing that. And even then showing your downfalls. A lot of people are very afraid to talk about like the low point, not even the low point, but just the decline in business. I think that's an important part to talk about your story because people can really see how well you're even doing, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you first had this calling, when you first ended up getting, a scene from the Santa Paula gym, realizing, hey, I want my own smoothie. What have you always been entrepreneurial, or like was that just like what some people don't have the guts to just decide, hey, I'm gonna start my business. Like, what was your confidence factor?
You know what? It's funny that you ask that. I actually come from a family of entrepreneurs,
Okay.
and I never really
That's cool.
thought about why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I think I just saw that so much as a kid and growing
Nice.
up. I mean, 3 of my uncles have businesses that were in really close proximity to me.
Right.
And then a lot of my other family members
Nice.
also that weren't so close to me also own businesses. So I remember being in college taking business classes before I started hospitality management, I was going for just business.
Okay.
A minor in business, whatever. I did so many things. But I wanted to work with kids. I remember really liking kids when I was fresh out of high school. And I was like, I'm going to open my own daycare. And so I think that entrepreneurial spirit has kind of always been there. I just never really knew what I wanted to do until I found Earth Kandee.
Okay, interesting.
This feels right.
So I'm curious. As an entrepreneur, right? People have different reasons for starting it, and one, it could be like their past job just wasn't as profound or sustainable, or wasn't something keeping them happy. So from what I'm hearing so far, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that because you had family members who have been in business, you saw the possibilities that what you can create for yourself in business.
Yeah, it's just I witnessed that so much. Like, it didn't seem as impossible of a thing as it might to other people. I just watched my uncle run his own business ever since I was like a little kid.
That's cool.
He was my favorite uncle, so he was kind of always in my life, and he's ran this business, so maybe it didn't seem so abstract to me.
But like, here's the other part I also want to make is that when we see things from other people, there are things that we like about it, right? So I'm assuming that you came across your uncles and realized that they were doing something that you liked.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate? Maybe see something that you might have found that was interesting that you wanted to start a business for?
Money.
Okay, that's honest. Okay.
No, I'm making a joke because he's my rich uncle. But no, I think it honestly was just the success that he had. And for me, I've done a lot of work around money. I don't think that money is a shameful thing. Like, money is a tool. That's how we live. Everything costs money. Medicine, food, your life literally costs money. So for me, I have a really healthy relationship with money, and I do want lots of money. And that's not the only reason I started a business. Like, I have 100 reasons that I've started Earth Kandee. Like, you had the questions for my reasons. And like, I have a lot. That's one of them. And that's one of the most powerful ones because that is how I live. And I grew up in poverty. Like my mom was super poor and we kind of had a hard childhood, and I've kind of taken that and learned from it. Like, I don't want my kids to suffer, and not that I suffered. Like, my mom is great. She had a hard time.
For sure. Like, I think we experienced that. My mom's side as well. I mean, coming from Philippines, I mean, third world country, so we came from poverty as well. You know, coming here to U.S. was a privilege to be able to build a different lifestyle.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial country.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, though. I didn't have any families at that time that were entrepreneurs. And even then, nobody in my family in U.S. are entrepreneurs that I've learned from.
Wow.
You know, so and I didn't learn that I had entrepreneurs family until later recently. Some of them started getting into real estate. They have their catering business. My aunt's a dental hygienist.
In the U.S.?
In Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Yeah. So like if you're one of those, then you're living well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I bet.
So but that's interesting for me is that you mentioned that you have a healthy relationship with money. You know, some people will start to identify money as the root of all evil or something that causes you, or even then you start to attach the idea that money is going to, you know, corrupt people, or it's the reason why we're so, you know, controlled by things, right?
But that's the thing. Like, money isn't anything. It's a tool. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not evil. It's just a thing that we use.
Right.
The driver behind the car is the good or evil, or you know,
100%.
like, it's the person spending that money. If that person is a bad person, it's not the money making them bad. It's their belief system and their choices that they make as a human. It's not the money.
No, for sure.
Because I know really, really shitty poor people. I come from a city where there's terrible people who aren't rich. It's not money that makes people bad.
Yeah, no, for sure. I also believe that, like, hey, it comes from the values that you operate from as people and where you acquire those values from, you know.
Yeah.
But interesting, though, we're making this about money when we're trying to talk about health.
I know.
But I think it's an important topic. I just wanted to emphasize on it because I think a lot of people haven't really identified that. Now, you said you read a book from Simon Sinek.
Yes.
Right, recently.
Yes.
Have you always been into because from my experience is that when people start to talk about money, especially outside of home, it's usually because they've done enough research and personal developments. Like, have you always been in the business development by yourself?
And not always, actually. Not always. So I would say probably... Honestly, I think it really aligned with starting a business. Maybe slightly before I really started trying to figure out what my past has to do with the person that I am. So that's where I started. And it was more like interpersonal beliefs, like how I am as a person. And then it kind of just bled into me starting this business. I'd started reading things like more business related, but also kind of aligned with self-help.
Love that. You have a personal favorite book?
It's really funny that we just talked about money, because one of my favorite books that I've read recently is a money book, and it's called "I'm a Badass at Making Money" by Jen Sincero.
I love her. I've read "I Am a Badass." Is it that one?
Yes, she has like a whole line. The yellow one.
Yes.
Yep. So this one's green.
Yes.
A lot of what I just said comes from that book, and it just really hit me in a special place, and I think that it's so true because people do think things like that about money. It's all the root of all evil and all of these things. And just for those listening, just read the book. It's really good, and it will help you heal your relationship with money. And how are we supposed to attract that into our life if we think it's evil?
And you know what's even funnier, Kristen? From my understanding, and you feel free to touch back on this thing, is that it's not just our belief systems under money, right? It's our reflection of who we think we are that causes our perception about things. So for example, right, the reason why people might not want to start a business or would be too afraid to start a business or even start putting themselves out there is because they have a negative attachment about themselves that, oh, they might look stupid, when in reality it's not the fact that they're afraid to look stupid, it's that they're afraid that maybe they're not valuable, maybe they don't see more for themselves. And I feel that it really comes down to that. When we start to break down these little layers of who they are, then we start to understand that, oh, okay, cool, they never really had enough their belief system is just constructed in a way where it doesn't set them up for more.
Yeah, I believe that 100%. And it's crazy that a lot of that belief system is built in your childhood. And sometimes people don't really take the time to ask the questions, why am I this way? Why do I feel this way? And the whole thing you said about believing that they wouldn't be enough.
Yes.
That stuff is so subliminal that you wouldn't even know unless you started to do the work. It is a scary thing to put yourself out there, but it's scary because you think that it's not.
It's because your attachment with yourself, you know, or maybe at some point your parents decide to say, you're not good enough, you can't do this thing. So then in the back of your hand, you're starting to thinking, I can't do stuff. But then you start breaking the limits a little bit of what society says, and then you start telling yourself that, hey, because society said that and that's approved, that's what I'm only capable of, therefore you only become a teacher. Now, not to say that being a teacher is any worse, but what I'm saying is, if you limit yourself to what you think you can only do, you're stopping yourself because of the belief you created in the first place.
100%.
Right?
That's why I think being an entrepreneur is so scary. Like, you have to be scrappy. There's no way of knowing that it's actually going to work out.
And even right now, I don't know if what I'm doing is going to work out.
And that's fine, though. The cool thing is that even if it doesn't, how much stuff did you learn along the way? For sure. Even if this whole thing, your whole thing were to fail, or mine, how much stuff did you learn along the way? Like, I don't know how to set a microphone up. Like, I just watched you put this whole room together.
In like, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
That was not bad. That might have been a new record.
Yeah. Like, you have skills that you've learned because you took a chance on yourself to do this. And there's just stuff. There's lessons to be learned out of any failure.
Right. And I think that even the bigger part is that because you come through challenges, like, sure, there's like hard skills that you had to learn, you know, like, for example, having to learn how to set up an LLC, or how to do your taxes or your accounting, right? And how to lead by example, or how to make your operations smoother, et cetera, et cetera. Right. But within that struggle is the mental challenge that I think that most people aren't willing to see for themselves, and that's where the personal development comes, you know, the actual growth.
Yeah, I think self-help aligns with entrepreneurship so much.
For sure.
You really can't you can't expect to lead in a company or even for yourself if you don't have yourself right.
Right. It's so funny. I think about that all the time when I'm doing my business. I know what I'm not doing enough of, but there are times when you start to feel less, or you just feel like, oh, I can't do this, you know, and then you have these internal back thoughts. Yes. And you understand that having a self-development is a part of the business in order for you to grow it.
Yeah. You have to believe that you can push yourself past limits. Yeah. Your brain's going to try and keep you comfortable and think that you can't do this. You can't. This is it. This is your limit. But
so many times. Yeah. I'm so glad that, you know, just being invested in personal development for myself, as I think that's what's kept me afloat. Otherwise, I probably would have quit, or not even started this thing. And mind you, I had the business while I was working part-time, and I knew at some point I had to make the choice to go all in. To be honest,
I remember you were on the brink when I first met you.
I thought it was too early, but the reason why I did so is because I had so many signs telling me, hey, you should quit to burn your bridge and figure things out. Yes. And then I had other little touch point that says, hey, if you quit, you can have all this thing. So like my internal back end is like saying, hey, maybe I might be able to make it.
And I feel like if you have been enveloped in the self-help world, you probably heard you're always going to feel like it's not the right time. You just have to kind of jump in feet first. It's never going to feel like the right time. Right. And don't wait until it feels like the right time, because it's not going to come.
No. I think there's never a perfect time. If anything, I saw another quote the other day. It says that if you're always waiting for the perfect opportunity, you missed your chance.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, just do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Do it.
That's a great talk. All right, let's pivot a little bit into your community, right? You're offering these subscription services for people to get a hold of. I'm always curious as to how brands build communities. And I think that's what really creates sustainability for your business, because they want to talk about you. You can relate to them in so many ways, and they actually want to talk about your product in such an organic way. So for you, when you start building Earth Kandee, what did your process of building your customer base and community look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually we were so blessed by this customer that we had in the very beginning. Her name is Steph. She owns Boss Fit. It's a gym in Ventura.
Nice.
She originally just bought smoothies from me when we were doing the prep smoothies. And she was like, this is so great. I love this idea. I love the ingredients that you're using. It's like mushrooms and not just basic things and all sorts of stuff. She's like, I want to have this at our gym. How can we partner, basically?
Really?
So I think we just started doing pop-ups at her gym, and that kind of gave me the idea to do pop-ups at other gyms. And she offers pickup at her gym. So it's just kind of, she really started a lot of the community for Earth Kandee.
Really?
She's been incredible. Yeah. She would share posts and things like that. But I think a lot of our community has been built just from doing pop-ups in general.
For sure. So then I want to tap back into, what was her name? Sorry. Steph. Yes, Steph. From her, what do you think was it that allowed her to start seeing? Because like the way I see this, right, is your customers is the ultimate sense of validation whether your business idea works. You can think of the best examples or the best ideas out there, but if nobody knows about it and actually experiencing it and giving you that feedback, then you don't know it's true, right? So for you, what do you think was it besides the ingredients that like made her decide, hey, I need to share this with my customers? Because like she could have just said, hey, this is mine, but she loved it so much that she wanted to share it with her customers.
Yeah, I think our businesses just kind of aligned. So she is in the fitness industry. She's a personal trainer, and I'm offering this healthy product that is super easy to put together. You don't have to have some extensive background in health and nutrition to know that this product is healthy, because it's all real ingredients. It's carb, fat, and protein balance. You have all of your stuff in there that you need.
Yes.
So I think she just kind of saw the alignment in our market as a business is people who are looking to become healthier, and so is hers. So it just kind of aligned.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think that makes sense too, because I have a couple clients that also like to work with people with similar customer base that are aimed for the same direction as well, especially for health, right? It just makes sense to have somebody that also focus on that.
Yeah.
So let's touch in on a more broad topic, right? You said that you weren't into health a while back.
Yeah. Yeah.
What made you decide, hey, you know what? This health stuff is really, really interesting. Like for me, when I first started, I was in sports in high school, doing track all the time, and then that was like my most commitment to sports. But I didn't really start taking health seriously and more working out as a part of my lifestyle until I got out of high school, and I started seeing the progress for myself, and I realized, hey, this is, I love the feeling of growth and development for yourself. For you, what was it that made you decide that health was something that's important to you?
Yeah, so I don't know what like my breaking point was, but there were moments growing up where I feel like I want to eat healthy now. I want to figure out how to eat healthy, and then I would fall off. And then I want to do yoga now. I want to be fit, and then I'd fall off. But right around age 23, 24, I started gaining weight. I was skinny my whole life. I could eat whatever I wanted. It didn't make any difference. But like I said, around age 23, 24, I really started to put visible weight on. Not like tens and whatever, a bunch of pounds, but I was getting puffy. And for me, I was like, obviously I'm not healthy. This isn't working. I can't keep packing all of this gross food into my body and not moving, and I have to switch something up, otherwise I'm going to become very overweight, because a lot of people in my family are pretty overweight. Okay. So I could kind of see it happening now. It was the visual thing, I guess, that was my tipping point.
Interesting.
So
Hey, voice community, thanks for tuning in to this episode. I just want to make a real announcement real quick. If you're looking to amplify your voice, just like what we do here at Voice Podcast, and you want to create your own platform, we actually do have an agency called Orca Media, where we focus on content development, social media strategy, social media development, and overall just part of your marketing strategy and how to amplify your business on social media even more. Social media management, editing, video editing, finding trends, ad management, paid media, whatever you name it, community development. So everything from that point to improve your social media. For anybody who tunes in, who decides to work with us, we're giving a promotion to anybody who signs up from here up to $250 off. If you're looking to take your brand presence online much more, we'd love to be able to help out. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show.
So I started a cleanse, like first thing, like right before Coachella, like a couple of my friends and I did this cleanse, and it was just no gluten, no dairy, no sugar for, I think it was 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And that was like the first like foot in the water that I took, and it went great. I actually looked incredible just cutting those 3 things out of my diet. I was like, this is crazy. And I also started going to that Santa Paula gym at that same time. And it just felt good. It felt good to look good. It felt good to feel good. Like the food that I was putting in my body was obviously clean and mostly fruits, vegetables, and meats, things like that. Because no dairy.
So you're always about natural and more organic stuff, right?
That's where it started. Yeah.
Yes, love that.
Because I just saw such amazing changes from just that one cleanse. I hate the word cleanse. I don't support cleanse. I hate that word. I think it's stupid. I think we should just find the way to eat always, not a diet, not a cleanse.
Right.
But that's just where it started for me, was cutting those 3 things out. And
okay. That's an interesting topic that you mentioned about cleanse. What's your thought process behind that?
I just think that it's so much better to have a way of life, like a way that you eat on a very regular basis, and to allow yourself to have cake and whatever you want to have in moments, but have like your 80% of your diet be nourishing for your body and stuff that your body wants and needs. Right. As opposed to cleansing and like dieting and
then you go back into the shitty,
and then you just like
again.
You crave all this sugar, and then you just kind of binge all of this gross food after going on a cleanse. I don't know. That's my personal preference. If people like cleanses, that's on them.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all, or what your thought process is. The way I'm seeing it, and from your voice, is that it's causing people to feel like what we eat on a natural basis is not a natural thing, right? And it should be like everything that we eat should be something that we take on normally anyways. Yeah. And obviously there's moderation to it, but I think the idea behind the cleanse, from how I'm seeing it, is that you're supposed to get rid of everything that you're supposed to eat, and you're not supposed to have it doesn't teach a regular lifestyle. Yeah. Where it's sustainable. Yeah. Is what I'm hearing.
Sustainable.
Right.
Yes.
Because from my thought process, though, I like to think of it as if when we were living in the old ages, right? When there wasn't a bunch of crazy, additives or ingredients, right? We were actually hunting food and actually going for food and for the healthy and eating the plants and getting the fruits from the earth itself. And I think, a lot of people overdo or have this crazy misconception about health, that your health is attached to how you look and how you feel, but ultimately it's how you feel and how you can create your lifestyle. Yeah. And how you can make that a natural thing, and then that's where like eating naturally on a more regular basis, and maybe allowing yourself to eat, some of the things that you do like. Yeah. Right?
That's exactly, I try to teach that to anyone that'll listen to me, is that...
Oh, I'm actually glad that I made sense. I was kind of saying, how do I make sense of this? Because I'm not a health guy, even though I love health.
Yeah, well, like for my mom, for example, she... we weren't raised eating healthy. We just ate what was there. For sure. And she recently has started to focus a lot more on her health. She had gastric bypass surgery because she was a little bit bigger. And so now she's trying to eat a lot more healthy, but she's used to eating junk food, and she has a really bad sugar addiction and all of these things. So I'm really trying to work her through like her language around food. Like she's like, oh, I was so bad today. I was so bad. I had a croissant. And I'm just like, it's not about being good or bad. It's food. It's just food. Kind of like same with the money. Like it's not bad or good. It just is what it's a thing. It's a tool.
Love that.
Food is a tool to nourish your body with. And I'm like, if you want to have a croissant, eat a stupid croissant, but like have some salad and some fruit and some lean meats like all in there with it, and like give your body the nutrients that it needs, and have a freaking croissant if you want one.
I love that thought process, Kristen, because what you're really saying is that food is just food, and it's not like you don't want to attach a negative connotation to all these food, and all of a sudden, oh fuck, I can't have that because I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with overconsumption, you would probably will.
Yes.
You know,
we are as a society, we are.
But it's about the understanding of your health overall that makes more sense to conceptualize that. Hey, if I start a moderate lifestyle where 80% of it is me eating the right things all the time, then the other 20%, maybe the 15% isn't as a big part of it.
It's life. The other 20% is living your damn life.
Yes.
And enjoying your
yes.
life.
Thank you. You know, freaking drink, you know.
Eat some ice cream.
Yes.
I love ice cream.
Well, I mean, I can't have too many ice cream. I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, damn. I'm very sorry. Just kidding. We hate ice cream.
No, it's okay. I take pills sometimes.
That's funny. My boyfriend's lactose too. He can't do any.
It is the worst. Oh man, you probably know what he goes through then.
Oh yeah, the dairy or the non-dairy cheeses, and he.
Don't worry, we won't put it on blast, because if we put it on blast, I'll be put on blast as well. Okay, so going back into your community, right now, how have you sustained it throughout COVID?
Oh, yeah. Instagram has been amazing. I was actually just having this conversation before this podcast.
Okay.
They started monetizing Instagram.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes.
It's crazy. But we were talking about how, air quote, unfair it is that they're starting to monetize Instagram. But really, at the end of the day...
As far as, like, subscriptions?
Yeah, they have, like, that meta version, whatever.
Yes,
you can, like, become verified if you pay. And we were just talking about how crazy it is that they're now... they have this monetary aspect to it. But at the end of the day, I was like, if it's... We've had this service free to us and available to us for so long.
And it's still free.
And it's still free if you want it. Basically, what it was saying was that your content isn't going to get viewed as much if you're not paying. That's what I was reading. But I don't know how deep it goes.
I think it's the other way around. I think if you do monetize... you will have more options to be seen compared to other person. Not so much get demonetized.
Yeah. No, if you pay, you'll get more views.
Exactly.
Yes. But I was just saying, in that conversation, Instagram has been so great for me as a business. And if it does start to cost some money, you know what? It probably should, because my business wouldn't exist without Instagram. And I am super thankful that it did exist all this time for free, because I don't think Earth Kandee would be where it is without Instagram. So I'm thankful either way.
Was that the only platform you were on?
I mean Facebook, just because it was attached, and we have our website that we share on Instagram, so we have that as like where our customers order. But yeah, no YouTube, no Pinterest.
And if you don't mind me just breaking down, like what was like your day-to-day way of going about Instagram like?
Right now, or when I first started? Because they're completely different.
I guess when you started to create that sustainability.
Yeah, so I really didn't see...
Before, yeah.
It's very different today. I actually struggled really bad with Instagram in the beginning, because I didn't really understand how to use it. But I think what a really good tip is, if people who are listening are entrepreneurs, is if you follow people who are teaching you how to use Instagram, and that's the content that you're constantly seeing in your feed when you're on your Instagram, you're going to learn so much. So what I did was I followed so many different digital creators and social media marketing people on social media. And so when I'm scrolling through Instagram, I'm constantly getting little reels like, do this for more views, do like whatever they post about. And it's been incredible for me. Yeah. I've learned so much, and I now actually create content on a schedule, like on a calendar, and I'm able to just plug things in super easily. And it's still kind of hard to get content because I am basically a one-woman show, other than friends who help me. But content's kind of a beast in its own, but I now am a lot more organized with it, and I do it on a specific day, and it's so much better now than it was.
Are you, for your content, are you posting about like the benefits or
Yeah.
or are you because some people, I feel like, from my agency, and this is what I teach for my clients as well, is that they don't understand that content is a way to create that relationship, but at the same time it's also creating that value to be able to be sold.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really cool about platforms. Like, even if you had to subscribe, by the way, it's really good, because if you did subscribe, you might get more customer support. I'm looking forward to that. I don't care about verification.
Customer support
that's
in
a whole
general.
different topic. It's something that Twitter decided to disrupt the industry with. But what I'm talking about with content is that you get the option to both put out content that can serve people and get recognition about the content, and at the same time, because you're posting out valuable stuff that people will notice anyways, you're doing its own marketing.
Yeah. We definitely post about benefits and stuff. And one thing that I've really liked is we've run contests. So we did a photo contest in our early days where people would take pictures of their smoothies to, I don't remember what I used the photo for. I think it was just send me the cutest picture. Who the cutest picture wins something, whatever it was. But we did that, and we got a lot of traction from that, and I felt like that was a way to create some community. And then also recently we did our smoothie challenge, which was more of
I remember that.
smoothie oriented to create some healthy habits in the new year, and that also was a way for us to create some community around it, because everyone was of challenging themselves and watching other people be challenged within it as well. So it was really cool. Instagram's great.
I think it's great. I think you would do really well on TikTok even.
I know. Everyone keeps saying that. I'm just does someone want to do my TikTok for me? Because I don't want to do it.
We got you.
It's just one more thing. Oh, there's so
that.
many. I do. Yeah. I agree. I don't even have TikTok myself. I think that's kind of why I haven't dove into wanting to do it for my business, is because I'm not even on there as.
Don't worry, I'm learning along the way with you. I'm literally I've grown a few hundred followers just by documenting my full time on my agency.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
It's so funny, but yeah, that's cool that you've utilized a platform like Instagram to keep your business growing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think that's really unique about that is that it's not just a way to market, it's a way for you to keep your relationship and extend it. And remind us, I honestly think that if you're a product business, if you're a B2B, a B2C company that sells products, you should be posting as much as you can. I mean, honestly, 2 to 3 times a day would be really the way to go, but that's different beast itself. But the reason why I say that is because you should be reminding people how amazing your products are.
Yeah.
What it stands for, what does it mean to you?
Yeah. That's the fun thing about Earth Kandee, is that I know that the product that we have is great. It feels good to market it. It feels good because I know it's good for you, and I know that it can inspire people to become healthier versions of themselves, which is my reason for getting up in the morning, is wanting to do that.
I love that.
Thank you.
Is it the health benefit factor, not just the creation of it? Because for me, I love getting up in the morning about my agency that I'm going to create something, whether it's for my client or for my business. For you, is it also the fact that you're going to be serving people in the health aspect, or what is it that gets you up in the morning?
It feels so good to have a product that I know is going to benefit somebody, even if it's not something that they see today.
Yes.
It's nourishment for their body, and that feels so good to be providing that for my community, and just knowing that I have a product that I know is good for people. Just it gets me out of bed. It feels so good.
I want to point out, I really admire that it seems like you already have this the minute you give your product to somebody, you already know you're making an impact.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
it feels
that.
good.
I need to start thinking like that more often. The moment I shoot your business, we're already oh my gosh.
It works the same way with you.
No. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that you mentioned that is because your vision on it, your belief system is so high up about what you can do with your business and your product, right? That even just a little glimpse of that will get you excited.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. That's definitely a gold nugget for me. Okay, so let's talk a little about the community as far as or the brand, your business now, right?
Yeah.
So you value health, right? You love impacting people in this end. What can people expect, or not? I wouldn't say expect. I feel like I hate expectations, but like as far as the experience when people start to see Earth Kandee, what can you say about it that you want people to start seeing more of it as, or they're already seeing it as?
I would say basically as a company, what we want to do is make healthy food more accessible.
Love that.
So can I drop my fridge right now? My new thing that's coming?
Yeah.
Is this a good time?
Yeah.
Or should I hold it?
What does that mean?
It's our new pivot to our business that's coming up.
Yeah, actually, yes.
time?
Yes. I did remember you wanted to share that. Yes, go ahead and share away. Thank you.
Yeah, so we have been a delivery service from the beginning. Basically, we want to make healthy food more accessible, like I said. And so with that filter, that's how we filter all of our business decisions. It's like, how can we make this more accessible? So we started offering pickup locations for the people who didn't want to pay for the delivery. And now I found this really cool idea a couple months ago on a different podcast that I listened to. It's called a smart fridge. And basically what it is, it's like a glass door merchandise fridge. And it's locked. And on the front of it, there is a tablet that if you swipe your credit card on the tablet, it unlocks the fridge. And in the fridge will be our smoothies, and then also a ton of other healthy snacks, salads, wraps, types of things. Whatever you take out of the fridge, when the door shuts, that tablet will charge you for whatever's missing from the fridge.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a vending machine without it falling or whatever.
Interesting.
It's just you pick what you want. You can read the labels and put it back, grab something else. It's just whatever's missing from the fridge when the door shuts that is charged to your card.
Will this be located in other locations?
We're launching at Grassroots Yoga Studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we have a date set for, I think it was March 22nd. I'm really hoping that the fridge is going to be here and we can get it stocked by then. So that's kind of a soft date. I'm going to do my damn best to make that happen. But I have the fridge getting here from the company's kind of on them. So hopefully it's here in time, but we're launching that this year. That's been awesome. A goal of mine for months, and it's coming true.
That's super exciting. Okay, cool. so then why pivot in there? What is it about that made you excited, or what's the biggest news for it so people can feel more about your business?
Yeah. So like I said, we as a company want to make healthy food more accessible, and we want it to be easier and quicker, and there's just a barrier to a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
And, I felt that when I started my journey into health and fitness. There's just this barrier. Everything is so confusing, and there's not that many healthy restaurants around, and there's just this huge barrier. So we want to help break down that barrier to a healthy lifestyle and have healthy food more accessible. So with that filter, we noticed that this fridge would be a really good way to put healthy food in front of people. And so having it in a yoga studio, you can go there, take a yoga class. There's where your movement is happening. And then when you're done with that, there's all of these healthy food options right there for you. And then boom, more accessible.
So the way I'm seeing it is that it allows you to basically leave that in there without having you being in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can become more accessible.
It's a smoothie shop with no overhead.
That's a keen idea. Okay. I can see that. So, okay. I like this. It's kind of like representing that vendor, like you mentioned, having access to that, except most vendors are not healthy, I mean.
Yeah.
Right. And it has a fridge.
Yeah.
Right? Keeps it cool. I mean, it keeps the ingredients fresh, I assume.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. And the cool part about it is there's so many, with that tablet that's on the front, there's all these analytics. So I can really cater whatever each fridge, because we plan on launching multiple, what the community where this fridge is placed really wants. Do they love these smoothies? Do they love these granola bars? I can watch all these analytics.
Okay, so you guys are also going to be a part of placing other products in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Tons.
Which means you'd have to talk to other vendors and
so if any healthy food vendors are listening,
okay.
message me on Instagram.
There we go. There we go. That is a great way to kind of pivot yourself in a different business.
Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting.
Multiple streams of revenue.
I am looking forward to see how that would work out for you guys. Okay,
Thanks.
cool. So then as far as that end, it seems like you want to place yourself in different places to become more accessible in a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
Right? Okay. What about, I want to pivot into your upcoming journey, right? Like now, it's obviously you saw a need for a community, and you're part of, which is being healthy, being involved in fitness, and just eating more, or I guess having a lifestyle that is more sustainable to for an unhealthy lifestyle. What have you seen as like transitioning towards the future that you might be a part of?
Like, where do I want to take the business? Is that what you mean?
That's another question I was gonna ask later.
Oh, what did you mean?
But more so, because like one of the things I'm curious about when I'm having people in here, and it might challenge you a little bit.
Okay.
Right. You I don't know if you've done any studies on like other health benefits, right, or health products out there. Do you see any changes that you might or might not be a part of yet that is changing in the health industry itself?
I don't know. I guess, I don't know. So for us, I remember doing a bunch of research on the functional beverage market, which is a beverage that does stuff for your body, right?
Okay,
so we're seeing all of these companies pop up, like Poppy. Have you heard of Poppy? The prebiotic soda.
Sounds familiar.
So just prebiotic sodas in general, and different smoothie companies and juice. Like juice is crazy these days. So I remember doing a bunch of research on that market, and it's expected to grow like 6 billion in the next. It's crazy. Like the growth is insane. I don't remember the exact dollar amount, but I remember reading all of that information. I'm like, I need to be a part of that in whatever way. I want to be a part of a company that does something for someone's body. And I think whatever way I can take the business that it grows and it is successful in helping people in that way, then I'll go.
Right. I love that. I love that you're into innovation, because like I think that's also a key thing for a lot of people in here listening. I want them to get a glimpse of what that's like. For me personally, because before, when I first started getting into fitness, there wasn't a lot of options for health benefits. There was like, especially for even like pre-workout, right? Like they talk about C4 and like those were like the beginning. And now there's like numerous amount of products that you can get from a local nutrition shop, right? That you have multiple options for, or even energy drinks. And the changes that I'm seeing is that now companies are becoming way more hyper aware about the products that they offer to offer this natural, healthy lifestyle that you can incorporate. And because they've understand that many companies, and we probably know who they are responsible for causing mass, obesity and high blood sugar, all these detrimental bad health aspects that can be passed down through generations, And I think it's really cool that you're a part of this movement.
Yeah.
And that's how I see health, like people who are a part of that, like they're contributing to this motion. Hey, we need to start living a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, there is a huge shift in the public perception of health, like massive changes, and I think COVID did have a lot to do with that. People are hyper aware of what they're putting in their bodies now, and I think that's fantastic, because they have just been pumping us full of growth hormones and God knows what. I mean, looking at the back of ingredient lists these days, like it's insane the amount of stuff that's in there, and we have no idea what it is, but we still consume it. But yeah, people are becoming more aware of what they're doing, and now companies have to answer to that.
For sure. Take responsibility to it. And I see a lot of companies that used to offer these things starting to cater for things like that, because they understand that, oh man, maybe we value the profit value too much instead of actually trying to feed people what they need to have, So, okay. So then going back to that one question that I was going to ask you is, with your company, where do you see it going?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm hoping and assuming that this fridge does good. That's kind of what we do as entrepreneurs, is just jump
Figuring
into the
out,
abyss
see how it is, right? So
hope it works out.
Yeah.
I think it will do really well, though. I mean, the concept is fun and new and modern and exciting. And I think we're placing it in a really good spot. So saying that this first fridge goes well, I really would love to plan to place fridges kind of all over the place and really answer to the calling that we have to make healthy food more accessible. So
Yeah,
I would love to have them in like office buildings and hospitals and all over.
I like that. I like that. You're not just thinking where people are already thinking of health, but also in other places that isn't thought about like health, like such as schools, maybe. Yeah. You know, such offices. You know, like what else
where
is
people
the public?
are just on the go, but could still benefit from having a healthy option.
Yeah, I definitely see a movement towards people becoming more, not just aware, but also decisive with how they put things in their body.
Yeah,
you know,
it's good. I love it.
Yeah, I love that. So if you're in that movement, you know, or if you're a part of it, you guys got to make sure you check out Christy's Earth Kandee.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's lots of stuff for her. But okay, so as far as that end, what else do you see for the future for your company, or even just for yourself? You know, like what's coming up for you?
I'm not sure. I'm so like involved in the launch of this fridge that I really try to focus on what I'm doing in the now. And like I have loose plans for where we want to go. Like, yes, I want to launch more fridges and I want to maybe be retail one day. Okay. I have like these loose plans, but I really just kind of focus on one thing at a time, and I do that one thing really, really well. I want to hyper focus and make sure that I do it right. So right now, I think I'm just super focused on this fridge, and if it goes well, we'll go from there.
Love that. Okay, so then let's pivot into wrapping it up a little bit. For anybody that wants to link up with you, such as your new vendor, right? Such a new fridge. What do you call this?
We call it a smart fridge.
The smart fridge. Okay, so if anybody wants to get a hold of a new smart fridge or your products or even your page, where can they find you?
Yeah, so if you do want to get a hold of us, we're on Instagram at Earth Kandee. So it's at Earth is spelled normal, and then Kandee is Kandee. And then if you want a fridge in your office or wherever, whoever's listening, email me. It's Kristen, Kristen, at earthkandee.com.
Nice. Okay, awesome. All right, and then last part, for anybody tuning in, listening, if you had one message to voice out, what would that be?
One message. Do you feel like your audience is entrepreneurial based?
Entrepreneurs, content creators, people who feel like they need a voice, people who want to listen to other people's voice.
Okay. I would say the best piece of advice that I've ever received is learning to take your failures and turn them into lessons. I don't believe that failing or doing something wrong is a failure. Any time that something has went wrong in my business, I really try to view that as a moment of something I can learn, as opposed to throwing in the towel and giving up.
Love that.
And if you're an entrepreneur, I think that's really important, because shit is gonna go wrong.
All the time.
All the time.
But it makes it worth it.
Yeah,
Once you come across it and realize, oh, okay, this is what I did last. It's like solving a puzzle.
For sure.
Right. Cool. Well, awesome. Thank you for coming by, Kristen, to share your story here.
Thanks for having me.
Very excited for that smart fridge.
Me too.
I'll be coming to take a visit.
Grassroots.
It's only Grassroots so far?
For now. Our first one is Grassroots. Yes, take a yoga class, grab a smoothie.
Oh, I'll take a yoga class too. I'll see what's up with them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, so yeah, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Hey, voice community, do you know anybody that is looking to brand them and voice themselves out even more? On this voice podcast, we're always looking for more candidates to voice out with interesting stories, powerful stories that are needed to be shared and amplified. We have a candidate list if you're looking to hop on the show, whether through Zoom or in person. We prefer in person because the content is much better, and we'd love to see how we can collaborate. So go ahead and click the link below, and we can potentially include this individual or individuals to be part of the next show.